So another issue with, besides the ambidexterity, is not adding to this problem, which is mobility hindrance. So being in a wheelchair, you're already slowed down by nature of your situation. So you don't want to add to that problem when you do have to move. And what I mean by that is dropping your gear where you are chalking your wheels. So dropping a magazine, doing a reload, you drop a magazine on the ground, this will chalk a front wheel. And if you're not very athletic, it'll chalk one of the larger back wheels too. So bear in mind that a primary skill is doing all of your reloads with retention. You don't have to retain it via your traditional tactical reload. You don't have to do that. But being able to drop the magazine, say, in your lap, so I'm up and dropping the magazine in your lap or underneath your leg like I just did. If you have the physical capacity to do that, if you don't have control of your legs, you might do something like I need to do a reload. I drop it, maybe tuck it underneath my leg, and then go for my spare. Or the option always exists for you to just be really good with your tactical reloads, right? So even if I run dry, I'm back up. So it's just find what works best for you, but the general concept here is you don't want to drop a mag where you're potentially moving. It's a valid idea to take your magazine and get rid of it, throw it somewhere where you're not going to run over it. I think that takes more time and energy than just trying to retain it, but if that's what you want to practice, The idea here is that don't drop it where you're going to be moving. Don't drop any gear where you're going to be moving. So that's your reloads. Don't drop magazines, don't drop gear where you're going to be moving. Issue number 3, not that we're really counting, there's a bunch of them, but one-handed firing. Now, your traditional grip is a 360 two-handed grip. I'm not saying don't use that grip. What you're going to find, though, when you start training for reality, when you start training for real situations, is that one-handed shooting comes up more and more and more from the wheelchair. And let me explain why that is. Now, you kind of saw when I was flashing around for the ambidextrous shooting concept, right? You might be in a weird position, or how I have to hold myself to level up to the target. I might only have one arm in that situation to get full extension for my sights. Now, the more likely circumstance where you're only using one hand is any surface that's not level. So any kind of incline. And wheelchair users know what I mean. Inclines, able-bodied people, you look at a floor and you think, oh, that's level, or it's level enough. Being in a wheelchair, you know what floor is unlevel. You can see, you're a lot more sensitive to it visually, and you're definitely a lot more sensitive to it rolling around. Gravity's going to pull you down that slope. So if you're in an urban setting, you're on slick surface, you're going to go towards the base of that incline. Gravity's going to pull you. Now, if you have to shoot while you're in that situation, which is, I guarantee you it's going to come up. And this is something that you can't practice on a lot of the time on a flat range because they're very level. It's indoors. If you practice outdoors a lot, you might run into this, but a lot of the times those are on dirt or gravel, and you're pretty anchored in place just due to the texture of the terrain. So this isn't the easiest thing to find a place to practice. But I encourage you to look into scenario-based training and try this, because this is a big part of the reality. So if you're on an uneven surface and you're kind of holding yourself, and you're holding yourself still, and you start to fall as you go up to shoot, you have to hold yourself still with one hand, whatever hand that is. So you might have to switch hands, and it's weird how it manifests itself. I might come up for a shot and realize that I'm drifting this way, and I have to control this wheel with this hand. It might be faster for me to just grab the wheel with this across with my odd hand. So And only training is going to bring that out and give you the sensitivity, feeling it out to know when those circumstances are going to happen. But know that that is an issue. That is a reality for wheelchair users. So being able to develop the capacity to be a good shooter with either hand, with only one hand. So ambidexterity, but also single hand manipulation, single hand firing. Okay, so the last concept we'll cover for this particular video is that of the covert draw. Now, this is a decently known concept, but it's not commonly taught on a low level because it's really not that important for most people compared to all the other skills that really go into your necessary beginner level courses. So, why this is important? So let's draw out some of the obvious issues. Me being in a wheelchair, I'm presented with a very close quarters, immediate lethal threat. Okay, kind of an emergency situation. I've got to get my gun out now. Your typical response for your able-bodied self-defense shooter: get off line of attack, go for your handgun. If you can, go for cover, but move towards cover. I don't know where you go to school. It's going to be taught differently, but typically speaking, you're either behind cover, you're fighting behind cover, or you're fighting your way to cover where you finish the fight. So that's a hard thing to accomplish here when you're talking about a very close quarters potential gunfight. Now, where the covert draw comes in, I can't immediately jump behind cover. I can because I have a little bit more capacity than a lot of people. I have no problem jumping out of my chair. Generally speaking, for the wheelchair, though, this is a hard thing to accomplish. So, let me demonstrate how this comes into place, all right? Or where this comes into place, rather. Now, I'm in a situation, I'm being robbed at gunpoint. I have a gun on me. Now, I can't get to him. I can't reach him to get to the gun or anything like that. He's outside my range, I'm going to go for my gun. Now, I can't jump behind cover. I can't suddenly dodge, so what I need to do is be able to get my gun out where he can't see it. Now, there's a lot of psychological things you can add to this. I can get him talking. I can wait until he talks, right? He says, give me your money.
Give me your money.
Okay, I'm using the fact that his brain is engaged in conversation for me to draw my handgun. That is a psychological concept. You add things in like distractions. I can take my keys. I can say, hey, look, here's my keys, take my car, right? And I'm distracting his attention. Even if I don't have this direct gaze where I'm directing his attention, I'm at least taking up a lot of his processing capacity while I'm doing that, so I can get to the draw. Now, the covert draw is I don't want to telegraph anything up here when I'm drawing my handgun. Another reason for having the handgun in the center of your body. If my gun is back here, then I have to do this to draw. There's all kinds of telegraphing involved in this. So, while we're doing this, and of course I would be ideally concealed at this point. Obviously I'm not concealed right now to illustrate the point, but the concept still applies. I would still move inside, putting my hand inside my garment to get to my gun in a very soft manner. So I'm not telegraphing from the shoulders, hey man, I don't want to fight, and I'm drawing my handgun. So, that is the reason behind the covert draw. So, I can't get behind cover very quickly. I can't dodge. I can't move. I can't manipulate. If he's outside my range, he's outside my range. So if I'm going for my gun, I have to employ other tactics to get my gun into the fight as fast as possible. And one of those is the covert draw. So, no telegraphing, okay? It's that simple. No telegraphing, it's just getting to the gun without flexing, without hinting that that's what I'm doing. It's staying relaxed, staying calm, and it's a hard thing to accomplish under stress. So with stress inoculation training, reality-based scenario training, But it's stress inoculation in your training is what's going to help get to that point of relaxation. Staying relaxed, staying calm enough to be able to pull that off without fumbling for your gun and giving that away. So, in my opinion, the covert draw is an important tool for the wheelchair user. It's something that you should at least try if you have the physical capacity to do it. So, these are my suggestions. Where you carry, how you manipulate your handgun, how you retain your magazines, being able to shoot with both hands, being able to shoot with one hand effectively, the covert draw. These, I believe, are some of the most important topics in adapting any self-defense, your typical CCW, your basic handgun self-defense class, adapting those concepts and making it more applicable to the wheelchair. So take it for what you will, try these out. If you have a particular issue, you say, hey, I've tried this and I just can't get it to work, send me an email. I'd be happy to help you. But these are my suggestions about, these are the things that I've been found to be most successful for the most people. So give them a try. Self-defense instructors, keep those things in mind, and thank you for watching.